Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's a new version of the XRP Ledger 1.4.0, which allows for deletable accounts. Now, there's a process that by which there are amendments that must be approved in order for it to actually be actionable, but that's thanks to the decentralized nature of the XRP ledger. And so it's kind of neat to take a look behind the scenes here, like what's actually going on as it pertains to like what changes to the ledger are actually being adopted here, because I don't get too much into the tech type stuff here, and it's not that this is going to be an overly techy video, definitely not, but I just kind of want to show you, like on the sites, I got some tabs open, I just want to show you specifically that this, like how this is working. I think it'll be kind of eye-opening, the way to which everybody that's running a validator, they've got their say. So I just think it's cool stuff, and I don't really ever talk about this too frequently, so I've got that, and then I'll wrap up the video with an unrelated piece that it's super fun. I just found it interesting. Why is my page all zoomed in here? AT&T can't deny part in $1.8 million crypto theft, tech advisor says. And I believe on this channel I had actually covered this, the origins of the story, which was back in, I think, May of last year. And so I got a little bit of an update here. It hasn't been in the news for a while, but before going any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, you done came to the right spot, son. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's the most productive thing you'll do all day, I can assure you of that. All right, let's dig in here. XRP has maintained its position among the top 3 cryptocurrencies, while the development arm of Ripple, Spring, kept up with the innovation streak, and the XRP Ledger version 1.4.0 was released on Friday, January 10th. That's today. Spring wrote in a tweet. Here, actually I pulled this up. Here, XRP Ledger version 1.4.0 is available on mainnet and introduces deletable accounts, a new amendment that allows users to delete old XRP accounts and recover some of their base reserve. And as most of you will know, and if you're new to the XRP community, just jumping into crypto, there's always new people coming in. You may or may not be aware that there is a reserve that must be held for any new XRP account that is created of 20 XRP. And by the way, it used to be a lot higher, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was either 300, maybe it was 500. That's when XRP was worth a lot less, though, and so that number can actually be changed, can be voted upon, and then with 80% approval, that can go down over time, and I'm sure it will as XRP becomes more valuable. At this point in time, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but the purpose of the reserve, it's really a big part of it is just to make sure that you can't really spam the ledger with a bunch of accounts that aren't doing anything just to try and like bog it down, because it'll get expensive really quick, right? So not going to happen. Let me jump back in here now. However, an XRP enthusiast and market observer at Tenatoshi pointed out that the latest version has not yet been enabled, and that the changes will not be reflected unless a certain number of validators support it. According to the amendment status of version 1.4.0, 3 amendments were going to be included in the update. The other 2 amendments have yet to be supported by validators, and according to @Alloy Networks, they will be enabled once the 2-week window is over. So let me show you what they're actually talking about here. So here's the thread. Because somebody named Alex Jansen responded to that original tweet by Spring about deletable accounts and wrote, I thought there wasn't enough backing for this one yet. And Alloy Networks responded, you are absolutely right. The other amendments that were part of the 1.4.0 release have the support and are on track to be enabled once the 2-week window is over. XRP Scan on Twitter has created an awesome page for that, xrpscan.com/amendments, which I pulled up here, and so this is all being tracked here, which is awesome. So if you're driving, don't worry about looking at the screen, but if you can look at the screen, if you're curious, this is what it looks like right here on the XRP Scan website. And so you can see the top 3 amendments right here, the 2 that are highlighted in green, those have met the threshold. So for consensus here, you can see this column I'm circling around, you got to get to at least 80% consensus. And the top one here, deletable accounts, it's in yellow because it has not met that threshold. It's at 70.59% with 24 voters. So we'll see if it happens or not. It's clear that most want this, but still you have to hit that 80% threshold, or else it just won't pass anyway. And so then another tweet from Alloy Networks reads as follows, and this is cool, check this out, because it's about decentralization. Without specific reference to this amendment, I'm thrilled that there is active voting by independent validators. This shows participation in the process and making a considered choice, not just following the default option to accept every amendment. This is decentralization. Indeed. Exactly. That's why I'm telling you, the XRP ledger is rather decentralized. It's more decentralized than Bitcoin. It's like when I see people, like I just made another video, and it was about Tone Vase talking about how XRP is centralized, and I'm sitting here showing you on the screen, and it's just like, it's like sometimes I feel like you can just scream to the blue in the face facts, and like for some people it doesn't matter, but here we are. Let me scroll down a little bit further here now. Here we go. According to the blog by XRPL, the deletable accounts will help new accounts begin sequence numbers equal to the sequence number matching the index of the ledger in which the account is created, and added, quote, this change protects accounts that are deleted and later recreated from having their old transactions executed again. So anyway, cool stuff all around, and so I was happy to share that with you there. And here's XRPL. I don't know how many. I'm sure some of you have checked this out before. XRPledger.org. The Living Ledger. I've highlighted that before. The ledger is on here somewhere, showing the transactions in real time. But anyway, you can see here's the update introducing XRP Ledger version 1.4.0, and this is interesting too. So, assuming these amendments are passed, like if you don't have to participate if you don't want to, but here's the impact of not upgrading. Ripple expects the deletable accounts amendment to become enabled no earlier than Monday, December 6, 2019, and it obviously we're past that, but still, when this happens, if you are not running release 1.4.0 or greater, your server will become amendment blocked, meaning that it cannot determine the validity of a ledger, cannot submit or process transactions, cannot participate in the consensus process, cannot vote on future amendments, and could rely on potentially invalid data. If the deletable accounts amendment does not become enabled, then your XRP ledger server will not become amendment blocked and should continue to operate. So you need to be aware of changes if you're running a validator, clearly. And obviously those running validators, not surprisingly, want to participate and are. All right, next, AT&T can't deny part in $1.8 million crypto theft, tech advisor says. And here we go. Seth Shapiro sued AT&T for allowing hackers to steal $1.8 million in crypto and said that their claims of failing to prevent the theft are not sufficient. Back in October 2019, the crypto world witnessed a rather unique case where blockchain entrepreneur and two-time Emmy-winning tech consultant Seth Shapiro from California filed a lawsuit against U.S. telecom giant AT&T. According to the lawsuit, several of the company's workers participated in a SIM swap attack that allowed hackers to steal $1.8 million in crypto from Shapiro. That's kind of staggering. As my grandpappy used to say, people are no damn good. The lawsuit filed on October 17th, while the incident itself took place between May 16th, 2018 and May 18th, 2019. Shapiro claimed that there were 4 hacks in total, which resulted in the theft of his personal data, as well as his digital assets. Since then, AT&T's official response was that it could not prevent the theft, which in turn caused Shapiro to shoot back at the company and claim that it either knew or that it should have known that its portable SIM cards were an attack vector that was actively being exploited before the events at issue. Furthermore, according to Shapiro's Wednesday brief with the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, it is entirely AT&T's fault as it failed to take steps to remedy the situation. And these SIM swapping attacks, they're so prevalent. I've reported on these stories, this one in the past, and stories very similar to it. And it seems like they're at... the pace at which these stories are coming out doesn't seem to be slowing down. People are still falling for this stuff. But it should be noted that AT&T does not have an impressive track record when it comes to SIM swapping issues, which have doubled in number between 2013 and 2016. Furthermore, this is also not the first case of this type where the U.S. telecom giant was sued after a similar incident. Another such case was Turpin versus AT&T, although in this particular case, the court had laid a certain portion of the responsibility on the claimant. And so it remains unknown whether or not the Shapiro case will see the same ruling, as the case will be judged on its own merits. But right now, Shapiro claims that AT&T have once again failed to provide proper oversight, implement adequate security procedures and systems, and he claims that it was the firm's employees themselves who hacked and robbed him. So it'll be interesting to see, and if he wins this, might he be reimbursed for $1.8 million? Who knows? We'll see. I'll keep covering. Next time I see an update on this story, I'll be happy to cover it. But that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.